Firefighter Jake Morrison, returning home from the fire station, noticed bright lights on an isolated country road and initially thought it was farm equipment. That was until he approached the field and saw a metallic craft and two alien figures, realizing this was not ordinary rural activity. Welcome to Shelley's Mystery Files. Today I'm going to share with you a story about an incredible alien encounter that a firefighter experienced on a rural road in Montana. Let's begin. Jake, could you first introduce yourself and tell us about your firefighting background in Montana?
Hello, Shelley. I'm Jake Morrison, 39 years old, and I've been working as a volunteer firefighter in Montana's rural northern region for 12 years. I work with a small-town fire department, mainly handling brush fires, vehicle accidents, and emergency medical response coverage. In an agricultural community with scattered rural properties and isolated country roads, this is familiar territory.
What were the specifics of your night shift on March 15th, 2020, and what was your normal duties coverage?
Standard volunteer night coverage, 1800 to 600 shift, mainly standby for emergency calls, equipment maintenance, and station monitoring. It was a quiet night with no major incidents, routine equipment checks completed. A normal rural Montana winter evening with clear weather conditions.
What kind of geographic environment was the fire station location and coverage area characteristics?
The station is located in a central rural area, covering approximately 200 square miles of mostly agricultural land, scattered ranches, and isolated homesteads. Rolling hills, open fields, minimal light pollution, and dark country roads connecting properties. The nearest major town is 45 miles away.
What was your normal route home after shift completion, and what were your vehicle specifications?
Standard route via County Road 47, approximately a 25-minute drive to my property. I was driving my personal pickup truck, a 2018 Ford F-150, a familiar route I'd driven hundreds of times on well-maintained gravel and asphalt country roads.
What were the departure time and initial driving conditions on March 15th?
I left the station at approximately 6:15, clear night sky, good visibility, no weather concerns. Temperature was around 28 degrees Fahrenheit, typical March conditions. Roads were clear and dry. Radio communication with the station was normal. Routine end-of-shift departure.
When did you first notice the unusual lights, and what was your initial impression?
At approximately 6:35, near the Millers Creek area, I noticed bright lights in a field about a quarter mile off the road. Initially, I thought it was a farmer working early morning equipment, possibly dealing with a livestock emergency or machinery problems.
What were the geographical characteristics of the Millers Creek area and normal agricultural activity patterns?
Rolling pasture land with scattered oak trees and a natural creek running through the property. It's a known area, the Miller family ranch, but the timing was unusual for farm operations. Too early for normal agricultural activity, no scheduled livestock work expected.
How did you make the decision to investigate, and what was your approach procedure?
Professional curiosity. Firefighter training includes checking unusual activity for potential emergencies. I pulled the truck over, grabbed a flashlight, and decided to walk across the field to verify no assistance was needed. Standard community response protocol.
How did the lights characteristics change during your field approach, and what were your detailed observations?
As I got closer, I realized the lights weren't a typical farm equipment pattern. It was a single large bright light, not moving machinery. It's in a stationary position near the creek. The light quality was different, whiter and more intense than normal work lights.
When did object recognition occur at closer proximity, and what was your initial shock?
At about 100 yards distance, I realized it definitely wasn't farm equipment. It was a large metallic object, estimated 40 feet in diameter, disc-shaped, hovering slightly above the ground. Silent operation, no engine noise, completely unprecedented sight.
What was the detailed appearance of the craft from approach distance, and what were its design characteristics?
Smooth metallic surface with no visible seams or panels. Classic disc shape with a slight dome in the center. Soft white light was emanating from underneath. No harsh spotlights. Very controlled illumination. Advanced technology was obvious immediately.
When did you first notice the alien beings, and what was the initial visual contact like?
At approximately 75 yards, I saw two figures moving near the craft. Tall, thin silhouettes with clearly non-human proportions, moving with fluid grace. I immediately realized this was an extraordinary situation beyond normal emergency response.
Can you describe the being's physical characteristics from closer observation?
Approximately 6 to 7 feet tall, very thin build, large heads proportionate to their height, long limbs, gray-colored skin, large dark eyes, minimal facial features. Their clothing appeared form-fitting with a metallic appearance.
What was your fear response at this critical moment, and how did you decide to continue?
Initial shock transitioned to intense curiosity mixed with caution. Firefighter training emphasizes assessment before action, so I continued a careful approach while maintaining escape route awareness. Professional instincts overrode fear temporarily.
When did the being's awareness of your presence become apparent?
At approximately 50 yards, both figures simultaneously turned toward my position. Clear indication they had detected my presence. Movement stopped. Full attention focused on my location. I realized a stealth approach was no longer possible.
Was there direct eye contact or communication attempts during initial recognition?
No verbal communication was attempted, but there was clear visual acknowledgement. The large dark eyes were very expressive. Intelligent awareness was obvious. I had a sense of being studied and assessed, not an immediate threat, but definitely under observation.
What was the being's response behavior to your continued approach?
Neither fled nor showed aggression. They maintained their position near the craft and appeared to communicate with each other through an unknown method. One figure moved toward the craft entrance. The other remained watching my position.
How did you justify the decision to continue forward in your risk assessment?
Professional training emphasizes investigation of unusual situations. No immediate threat was detected, and I was curious about technology beyond human capability. Firefighter mentality: assess, investigate, respond appropriately to unusual circumstances.
What was your closest approach distance, and what were your final observations before light exposure?
I reached approximately 30 feet from the craft and beings. I could clearly see technological details, landing struts, surface textures, being features. It was the most detailed extraterrestrial observation possible.
How did the light beam activation occur, and what were the immediate effects?
The being nearest the craft raised an arm-like appendage and projected a brilliant white light directly at my position. Instantaneous, blinding effect, complete disorientation, loss of balance and consciousness within seconds.
What were the physical characteristics of the light beam, and can you describe the sensation?
Extremely bright white light. Not painful, but completely overwhelming. I felt a warm sensation throughout my body, a tingling effect, and gradual loss of motor control. Not aggressive, more like controlled incapacitation.
Do you have any memory of the transition from consciousness loss to awakening?
No memory of time passage. Complete blank period. Gradual awareness returning. Disorientation. Confusion about location and time. Like emerging from deep sleep without dreams.
What were the awakening location and circumstances of discovery?
I found myself sitting in the pickup truck driver's seat, engine running, headlights on, parked roadside where I had originally stopped. No memory of returning to the vehicle, keys in the ignition, everything appeared normal.
What was your time assessment and missing time duration calculation?
The truck clock showed 8:20, approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes of unaccounted time. My cell phone confirmed the same time, a significant time gap with no conscious memory. Classic missing time experience.
What was your physical condition assessment post-awakening, and what health effects did you notice?
No physical pain or obvious injury, slight headache, general fatigue, feeling like I was recovering from an intense medical procedure. No marks, bruises, or evidence of physical examination.
Did you attempt a field investigation at the encounter site?
I immediately drove back to the field location as daylight was approaching. No visible evidence of the craft or beings. The ground appeared normal, no landing marks, no disturbance. Complete absence of physical evidence.
What did vehicle inspection post-encounter reveal, and were any anomalies detected?
Thorough truck inspection revealed no damage, scratches, or unusual marks. Electronics were functioning normally, no electromagnetic effects detected. The vehicle appeared completely unaffected by the experience.
What happened upon home arrival, and what were your initial family disclosure attempts?
I arrived home 45 minutes late. My wife noticed fatigue and disorientation. Initially, I claimed I had stopped to help a stranded motorist to explain the delay. It was too extraordinary to explain immediately without sounding delusional.
How was your work schedule return, and what was the performance impact post-encounter?
I returned to normal shift schedule, but with increased awareness during night drives, especially in rural areas. Professional performance was unaffected, but I had heightened alertness to unusual phenomena.
What documentation attempts and evidence preservation efforts did you make?
I created a detailed written account within 24 hours, while the memory was fresh, noting exact location, timestamps, and weather conditions. No photographic evidence was possible, so I relied on detailed observation notes.
Did you consider medical consultation for health effects monitoring?
No immediate health concerns required medical attention, but I had increased awareness of physical changes, sleep patterns, and energy levels. No obvious lasting health effects were detected.
What were your disclosure attempts to fellow firefighters, and what was the professional community response?
I cautiously approached trusted colleagues weeks later with mixed reactions. Some were interested, others skeptical. The fire service community is generally practical, so unusual claims are challenging for professional credibility.
Did you consider law enforcement notification and official reporting?
I considered a sheriff's department report, but was concerned about professional reputation and the ridicule factor. No crime was committed, no property damage occurred, so it was difficult to categorize for official reporting.
What vigilance changes occurred on subsequent night drives, and was there repeated phenomena?
Increased awareness during rural night travel, especially around the Millers Creek area. No repeat encounters, but enhanced observation skills and better attention to unusual lights or activity.
Did you research the area for historical UFO activity and regional patterns?
I researched Montana UFO databases and found occasional reports in the region over decades, but no concentrated activity area. Rural Montana generally has low population and fewer witnesses, so underreported phenomena are likely.
Was there community member feedback after eventual disclosure, and what local knowledge emerged?
Gradual disclosure over the following months revealed several local residents had unusual experiences over the years, but most were extremely reluctant to discuss them publicly. Rural communities highly value practical reputation. Credibility is essential for professional standing. A local farmer mentioned strange lights over his property the previous summer, but never reported them due to ridicule concerns. The gas station owner shared a story about a customer describing highway lights years ago, but dismissed it as a drunk driving excuse. The area postal worker mentioned unusual animal behavior patterns and livestock disturbances correlating with unexplained lights. The pattern suggests more frequent activity than officially reported, but rural culture discourages discussing extraordinary claims. Professional reputations, property values, and community standing are all at risk with UFO reports. Small-town gossip spreads quickly, and unusual claims follow people for years.
What are your thoughts about fire department equipment technologies and counter detection capability?
Standard firefighting equipment is definitely not designed for UFO detection, but some systems could potentially document unusual phenomena. Thermal imaging cameras might detect heat signatures from advanced craft. Radio communication equipment could register electromagnetic interference patterns during encounters. Emergency lighting systems could illuminate objects better than standard flashlights, and department vehicles have GPS tracking that might record unusual route deviations or time gaps. I'm considering upgrading personal documentation equipment for future unusual situations. Body cameras, electromagnetic field detectors, better night vision capability. The department could implement unusual phenomena reporting protocols and train personnel for extraordinary situation documentation. Enhanced communication systems would allow real-time reporting to other emergency services during encounters. Professional emergency responders are better positioned than civilians for credible UFO documentation due to training, equipment access, and established reporting procedures.
What was the professional development impact, and were there career trajectory changes post-encounter?
Enhanced observation skills, increased awareness of unusual phenomena, and better documentation practices. My firefighting capabilities actually improved through heightened alertness training.
Were there sleep pattern and dream activity changes post-encounter experience?
The initial few weeks showed some sleep disturbance and occasional vivid dreams about lights, but they gradually normalized. No persistent nightmares or anxiety. Generally, peaceful recovery.
What was the family relationship impact, and how did long-term disclosure to your spouse go?
I eventually told my wife the complete story after several months. She was supportive, but concerned about professional implications. The family was understanding, but advised caution about public disclosure.
Did you have increased technology interest in UFO research engagement post-experience?
Increased interest in aerospace technology, UFO research, and extraterrestrial possibilities. Reading scientific literature, attending presentations when possible, expanding my knowledge base.
What is your current assessment of encounter authenticity and personal conviction level?
I'm absolutely convinced the experience was authentic, with no doubt about extraterrestrial contact. My memory is clear, details are consistent, and there's no explanation for the missing time or advanced technology I witnessed.
What are your future encounter expectations and preparedness planning?
I'm open to potential repeat contact and better prepared for documentation and communication attempts. Understanding their peaceful intentions, I have no fear of future encounter possibilities.
Finally, what is your advice to emergency responders who experience similar rural encounters?
Document everything possible, maintain professional objectivity, and don't let fear prevent investigation. Emergency responders are trained to handle unusual situations. Apply those skills to extraterrestrial encounters.
Jake, thank you for sharing this incredible rural UFO encounter with us. The emergency responder perspective is very valuable for this phenomena.
Thank you, Shelley. I hope my account encourages other emergency personnel to report unusual experiences. First responders are often in position to witness extraordinary events.
Jake Morrison's experience on Montana's rural roads shows that extraterrestrial intelligence visits rural areas and makes direct contact with local emergency responders. The detailed account from a professional with 12 years of firefighting experience reveals the connection between this phenomena and the emergency services community and rural response capabilities. If you've experienced similar unusual encounters in rural areas, please share with us in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to Shelley's Mystery Files channel, and see you in our next rural mystery.